Say you began as rib or clod of earth. Say you were blossoming until someone stared too long at your shirt and leaned in, unbuttoned, pushed, forced. Don't mistake me. This is not a poem against longing, but against the kind of one-way desire that herds you into a dead-end alley, and how this can lead to a weakened epidermis and despair and nights of howling. And who can you tell except mother, friend, cat, while sky keeps on being sky and streets fill with danger? Say you survive and mostly you're okay because turns out you can carry cauldrons of hurt and your heart is as strong as a giant carbon atom. Say you gather sisters and tell each other legends about when women were keepers of the universe, when gardens proliferated between our thighs, and even if we were hacked and scattered over the earth, temples would grow from the bits of us. Even the cosmos, seriously, the cosmos stemmed from us. In other words, we were the beginning, the origin of the world. Say all this has vanished, like the great auks, those awkward, flightless birds mistaken for witches. Say those legends have gone into a kind of extinction, and we have grown silent as an underground stream, and every now and again one of us would amass enough steam to plunge over a cliff like a waterfall shouting a name. And even though the sound she made was thunderous, nobody heard, and she disappeared, and we did not ask where she went to or why. Heart, atom, danger, wants not to break apart. And it is hard to say why our ears and tongues went off to be pilgrims in the valley of silence without leaving a note, or how the thorns got plucked from our throat. But now they've returned. We must make up the beds and unpack the cases. We must listen to every unbearable thing until we too can name our unbearable things, until the sound of unbearable is deafening. And it is like the fairy tale after a long spell of sleep. It is wake up, people, it is time to find our way back. Bridges are burning and towers have collapsed, and some will say the witches are returning, but really it is the world asking to be made again. So let us bring flowers, let us bow down, let us worship and reveal our scars. Let us. Hello everyone, my name is Tishani Doshi. I'm reading poems today from a new collection called God at the Door, published by Bloodaxe. I'm speaking today from Kodaikanal in Tamil Nadu, South India, and recording this for the Coronet Theatre in London's Notting Hill, one of my favorite theatres, a really beautiful, intimate space. Um, Thinking about it now, it feels like a different world and a very faraway time when people could gather and sit in a theater and share and experience collectively and be moved by something or entertained by something. And I think we all feel a sense of alienation and aloneness, but I hope that we will soon be back in the theaters again and back at the Coronet. My loneliness is not the same as your loneliness. My loneliness is not the same as your loneliness, although they send each other postcards, and when they meet, they relax enough to nap on each other's sofas. I've never felt more alone than when I was being burgled. Our bodies facing one another, the burglar and I. Can I help? I asked, but really what I was saying was stay, don't leave. You sometimes say you're jolted awake by the horror of eating animals, how most mornings it passes, but once you walk downstairs to find a watermelon had exploded on your table, all that rotten red froth seeped through the tablecloth. And even though I understood this explosion exploded something in you, that it has to do with bodies, yours and mine, the animals, the watermelon, the burglar, the thread between us, I could not reach for your hand, could not say, don't live among strangers. They say it starts in childhood, or being alive in a large country where all the roads are empty and lead in. They say go east, go west, go somewhere, start something, but where can you go if you don't know how to manage thirsty buffaloes? If the past is a bird cage that grows larger the farther away from home you get. I left town, hit a patch of feeling blue, called you. Funny story, you said. Puppy just shredded 18 volumes of the Mahabharata. What's happening with you? I say, I'm on the road. It's the underground guerrilla life for me, dirt and celibacy. All I can hear are birds and sirens, and sometimes birds imitating sirens. We're quick to tell each other it's okay, it's okay. We can't all be preceded or followed by something. We can't all carry around tanks of oxygen or storm through doors reeking of whiskey and Pernod. There is no known cure. It isn't true about daily B12 shots or living in a commune. In wars, there are almost always the same number dead from starving as from combat. Whatever it is, it lives in the body and will stay till the body runs aground. Singers say they hear the next note before they sing it. My loneliness is something like that. I know not just what it is, but how it will sound. There's a child screaming in the playground below, a refrain so shrill it scrapes a layer off the air. She's reassuring herself. She's not alone. No one tells her, we're here, together. You've been heard. Why the Brazilian butt lift won't save us. The body refuses happiness. That was once upon a time. That was long ago when you could run naked through a field without consternation, you and your perfectly sized baby parts. The body grows dissatisfied once it starts towering over dogs and staring into the hearts of kitchen counters. Pretty soon, your altar body is calling from a downtown phone booth saying, listen, baby, you need to step up the retinoids. We know, don't we, that a forest is being truncheoned as we speak, that a girl in that forest is being truncheoned too, a girl or 100, that all the words we have for my heart can't take it anymore, won't be able to describe what happens to the body at the end of that. Still, the body wants to be glorious while it can. It sees lips burgeoning like a hokusai wave and thinks, I'll have some of that. It sees bones Caravaggio might have dreamed of, and microbladed eyebrows and neat marble apples the size of a generously cupped hand, and says yes, yes, yes. But mostly it sees Kim Kardashian's ass rising like a mountain out of the Atlantic and thinks, I too want to oversee a metropolis. And why shouldn't it? Aren't we all trying to get back to a time before the blemishes, when the body was carefree with no stretch marks and pristine platelet-rich hair? An origami crane built to withstand the damaging effects of light, gusting over thermals to fly against any mushroom cloud. So what's a few small wounds to the forehead? What's a needle the size of your life? This poem is called A Dress is Like a Field. A dress is like a field. Lift a hem and flowers will fall. Fold it in a wooden chest and weeds will lay their fingers against its cotton heart. A dress is sin. Take Marilyn. Take Subway Great. Take You must have had to paint that on you. Flamenco ruffle, zipper, Cleopatra in gold, lame, little black something. When we were girls, we played at dressing up. Mum's swimsuit with the built-in bosoms, a lesson in seduction. The past is a yard in Wales. My mother and her sister in matching seersucker frocks, hands in pockets, high collars, the wind making petticoats of their hair. They join a ship of sisters, mothers with needles and thread, holding bolts of cloth against their chests, thinking, this will do, this will see them across the years. A singer sewing machine in Madras, my sister and I in handmade spunks with floral bibs and frills, aspiring zazoos with high socks and lacunas of knees. If I had daughters, I dressed them in velvet suits with cummerbunds so they could roll down meadows and scorch the wilds of their insides against grass. A dress needs only a mosquito net to be a bride, and later, as it yellows in a bag, it will dream of being a factory girl, a school child, something lumpen and uniform to recognize itself in the other. A dress never loses its sense of the dramatic. It knows how to languish across a washing line, how to beckon from a mannequin, how to sit puddled on a floor. See this riverbank, there's a row of them, unbelted, unbuttoned. The river calls for an afternoon of love, a picnic, clots of copper maple, legs of bone, seams turned towards the sun, nothing like abandoned shoes which glow with horror, the piles at Dachau, trains, gunshots, dead bodies in water. A dress is a forest of memory, its damask skin, its armpits of toil and wonder. Even the holes are altars to fairy tales, reminding you how once you were so small, once your waist was a secret nation. This next poem was written to commemorate the lives of the 1.5 million Indian soldiers who fought in the Great War. Um, I wrote it in the centenary year of the armistice, and I used letters written by the soldiers home. Um, I'm going to read one of those extracts. It's by Kala Khan to Iltaf Hussain, 27th of December, 1917. What more am I to say? Our kind-hearted Sarkar has done everything possible for us to protect us from the cold. We are each provided with 2 pairs of strong, expensive boots. We have whale oil to rub in our feet, and for food, we are provided with live Spanish sheep. In short, the Sarkar has accumulated many good and wonderful things for our use. Many good and wonderful things. History, too, has a hard time remembering the black waters they crossed, the small mountain villages emptied of men. Death was different then. History is always reinventing itself. Say what you will, but clouds have remained more or less the same, and leaving home is still leaving home, whether it's on a jet plane or climbing the steep path behind the house with a roll of bedding on your back. But to die in a faraway place whose name you can't pronounce, for a king who isn't really yours, is a sadness history still hasn't figured out. History has been pushing for republics since Lucius Junius Brutus, but men are hardy as the point, or bull-headed, and you'd think the glories of lice making mansions in their shirts was a paradise they could do without. That trench living would make them walk across the front with arms held high, saying, "Take me quick, I wish only to enter the realms of God." History tries not to be sentimental, although letters give things away. One fool longed for a flute. The world is burning, but he wants to play. Others were mercenaries, gluttons, spies. The wise asked for opium, but right sweets or dainties, they said. Otherwise, the package might not reach. History tries to forget the dead who cover the earth like heaps of stones, who write, "Mother, is my parrot still alive? Mother, do not go wandering madly." Sometimes it feels as though the rain has been falling all your life and the girl you married will tire of tending the cattle. Do not worry. This is war, where the women, like metaphors, remain steadfast and beautiful. In history's version, she sits under the peepal tree, your Victoria Cross pinned to her sari. She has been waiting since 1918 and she is waiting still. So let us speak about love the way we always have, by asking, "Have you eaten, darling? And what price did you get for the goats? And of course I miss you, but the earth is hard and the sky distant, and if I had wings, I'd fly to you." In Marseille, they said we looked like kings. History cannot really say what happens to men at war. So listen, at night I feed on stars. Do not ask about the cold. They have given me whale oil for my feet. And someone told me if I carried a piece of raw onion into battle, the bullets